Good morning, everyone. Paula Madison, Sierra here with another 10 of 10 episode. Today, I'm doing a marketing moment, and I wanted to really share some books that I was going through and I have read in the past, but also just kind of a reminder because so often I go into folks and I'm working with my clients, and for them, they want to go straight to marketing communication. What elements are we going to be using? They want to know what we're going to do in Facebook. I don't understand it. Shouldn't we use Instagram? Everyone I know is using Instagram. Should we do this? Should we do that? Going to the communication elements, which is all the way on the bottom of our activity. It's the last thing that would probably execute. But what we need to know about is your operations as marketers. And if they're not having that discussion with you, they should be having discussion with you. And now that you have heard me discussing it here, I hope you will also share this with your marketers as well. What is your operations like? What weight can that operations bear? You have a lofty goal that you want your marketer to accomplish, but is your structure set up so that none of this can possibly happen? I have worked with clients who have wanted certain things to happen, but the basics, we weren't allowed to get to certain things in their system. They couldn't gather numbers so that we could see how we were performing and the how their budget was doing. And so is your operation set up for productivity? Is your operation set up so that you can move forward effectively? For me, before you can have a marketing communication discussion, you need to have a marketing and operations discussion at the top end of the discussion. The goals that you set up for yourself at the opening of your marketing discussion, can you actually accomplish it? Do you have a lofty goal of making a certain revenue, but there are no folks to help to onboard your client as you're selling? Little things like that, simple things that you haven't gone through. I'd like you to really walk through it. And we're in a wonderful time right now where we have the internet, we have access to webinars and things like that. But to me, one of the old school, the easiest forms, even if you can't get yourself a business coach right now, are books. To me, books, especially audiobooks, are like a master class with having the author literally in your ears, training you and sharing their experiences, their research, um, observations that they've been through that you can actually utilize, not just read the book for the sake of reading it and gathering the information, so that you can use it at cocktail parties, at networking events. I want you to read the book in a way that you can actually apply it. So these are my books that I would suggest to you that are actually phenomenal for applying. And I'm sure you're going to suggest some more because I had to break down the list to, well, really just to the ones that I have here with me. There's so many of them, but my marketing moment is only a 15-minute segment for you. And I want to make sure that I take advantage of that. So the first book, Traction, is was actually a gift. It's an EOS book written by Gino Wickman. It was a gift from Eric Goldman. He's a professional EOS implementer here in the San Francisco Bay Area, and I know he works with people all over. But can I tell you, this was like one of the best gifts that I have gotten in a long time. This book really breaks everything down about what you need to do, how you need to do it, when you need to do it. It gives you processes and it makes you understand that most everything that you need to succeed for your business, you already have. And these are the additional legs to that stool that you need to put into place. These are the things that you need to strengthen before you can even move forward. Phenomenal book. There is access to um, resources and additional items. Yes, you can be a self-implementer, but you can also reach out to one of their implementers who can take you through it. They're trained and everything, but fantastic reading. This is the expanded edition, so this is the latest one. What a fantastic book. Again, laying out all the processes and procedures, and even having a discussion about your mindset. The reason why the title today is Your Operation and You, because you are your business. I don't care how large or small your business is. You set the social tide within your business. Everything trickles down from you. And so having a discussion about how you're processing within that business is also a big thing as well. And I love that this book wraps up really nicely both sides, both the the side about you and what you're doing and what's going on with you, and how having the right mindset to get into making these changes, how important they are. And then also the structure and the processes that you need, step-by-step implementation, things that you need to be doing. Love this book. This is like a really, Eric, thank you so much. This is such a fantastic book. The other one is an old school one. It's really nice and perfect and clean, because typically I listen to the audiobook of this one, and this is actually a gift for someone. So this is a nice, I'm trying not make sure that I'm not messing it up or anything like that. The E-Myth Revisited by Michael Gerber. Such an excellent book. Again, another item, I think Traction and E-Myth are a really nice complement item to each other. They complement each other really well. Again, he talks about the business owner and the business. He actually, one of the biggest conversation that he has in the book, by the way, if I'm taking on a retainer client and we're having deep discussions, I usually ask them to read this book before I even deposit that first check, before I even take first payment, because I'm there to do the marketing portion of it. You're there to make sure your operations is right, but you're also there to make sure that you're ready to make these changes as well. And I'm not a therapist. And this book really dives into making sure that you understand that there are three roles there that's kind of rolling around. There's the technician, where you're actually touching, how to run the business because you did start it. There's a manager, and then there's a visionary, right? That's part of this as well. Which one are you trying to be at any moment? If you're trying to grow the business, clearly you have to step away from being the technician. And of course, as you're building it to the next level, you're going to have to touch some days, but it should be less and less. And if you put processes in place for the things that you've done in the past, then you can actually bring folks in under you to do the training. The thing that I love about, because I think a lot of small business owners automatically go to, I need people who are coming in, bringing in extreme skills and know-how and all of that. The takeaway from this book for me was, hire people who are kind and considerate and good people and disciplined people, right? You can't train people to be kind and nice to your clients and disciplined to do their work. You just can't train that. But if you have your processes in place, you can easily onboard these people in to the way that you know how it should be done, instead of having someone else bring in their bad behavior from a previous company to tarnish your fledgling company. So I thought, for me, that was the biggest takeaway from this one. Hire the way to hire. You can't teach people to be kind. That was the big one from this. And it really broke it down. Little side story. Of course, I won't use your name, even if you're watching this right now, but I had a client who I told same thing, I won't start the relationship until you read this book. There was a whole diaper baby meltdown that day. I mean, he really kind of lost his mind, screaming and shouting. I knew that it had nothing to do with me. This was his own issues. Maybe 4 or 5 hours later, he had downloaded the book to his phone and was listening to it in the car as he was going to appointments. And he calls me later and apologized because he said, oh my God, Michael Gerber, he was speaking to me. I've been touching too much. I'm the one who's holding my baby back from growing, and I understand why you had me read the book. And of course, that's the point where you can either go off to a business coach or something like that. But again, I'm purely on the marketing side, and I want to make sure that I give my clients the tools that I need to execute the job appropriately for them, making sure that their operations is right. You need a referral to a CFO to get your financial structure just right. Let's do that before you start marketing. These things are your foundational item before you hop into marketing so that you're not wasting your money, your time. And, I'm going to kind of tongue in cheek it, but maybe blame your marketers as well when you had set up a failing situation for your vendors. Let's jump to the next one. This one I'm actually like in the middle of. I'm reading it again. It's Influence. So Influence, the psychology of persuasion. It's I love this book. And by the way, I'll drop them all in the link. Like I said, there's more that I absolutely love, but I only wanted to do 4 this morning. So I can't do all the books that I love. We would be on for a very long time. But Influence, all right, so don't be deterred by the super ants-like writing. I'm not sure what they were thinking. It's so tiny, and I love that he bases this on 6 principles. And I also like, this is a 30-year-old book. It's a pretty old book. I just bought this as a gift, sent this as a gift for someone. They have a new, improved variation of this. I haven't read that one yet, but I'm rereading this. So if you're going to buy it, definitely buy the new, improved edition. It's a 30-year-old book, and I do love the fact that it didn't have the influence of technology in it, because it was they predated that time. And I love that, they even share kind of the basics. They're talking about faxing. They're talking about all of these things that we no longer even use. And so I love that it really broke down to the psychology of it, about influence, really going to person contact and having that discussion. I love that the author had also taken all of these jobs within sales environments to really learn and to be taught instead of just doing research completely on his own. He actually wanted to be taught by these sales people from various companies to really see what works and what doesn't. I'm really loving this and reading it again. It's been like a year since I read it. I really love this. When you read it, there are 6 principles. My favorite principle is scarcity. So it's like my favorite one. All right. Last, and like I definitely had to do, those of you who know me know I'm all about mindset and making sure that your head is right and not dragging around old stuff from your life into new stuff. So again, those of you who know me already know this about me. I love Think and Grow Rich. This is actually, look how beautiful. Isn't that gorgeous? It's handbound, it's leather. I love this copy so much. I have some paper copies and I've been giving those away to friends of mine. But this book was one that was handed to me the first time when I was 17. And I dismissed it rudely. My only excuse is that I was 17. And I thought the title was a little bit silly. Think and Grow Rich, like you think about it and you become rich. How stupid is that title? I was 17. Okay, do not judge. And then since then, with all the businesses that I was part of, people just kept handing me the books. So when I finally did listen to the audiobook, I think I had 4 or 5 copies, paperback copies, just kind of laying around. I have a hard time throwing books away. So I still have the books. I've since given away most of them. I think maybe I've like 1 left or something like that. But this one, the basics of it is, if you don't know the backstory, I think the backstory is actually pretty cool on this one. So if you don't know the backstory, Napoleon Hill, the author, went to interview Andrew Carnegie. Big steel magnate of the time, at the time, one of the most richest men in America. And Andrew Carnegie took a liking to this young man. It was a little bit like it was almost into the Depression. It was that era. And, he said, listen, I come from very poor, humble beginnings, and I use certain principles to get myself to a certain level. Instead of someone having to relearn this and all the things that I had to do to figure out what these steps were, why don't I just simply share them with you so that you can share them with others? Additionally, why don't you spend, I think it was 20 years, and interview friends of mine? This is before they became iconic, historic figures, and they were just kind of the news at the time, you know. These were friends of his who were practicing the same principles that he had been practicing and putting them into play as well. And so this book is really an observation of about 20 years of seeing what success looks like and what, you know, actually the big one is changing your mindset. Your programming starts from 0 to 5. You have fantastic parents. I'm mazel tov. I'm happy for you. You've gotten some wonderful things poured into you. If you have less than ideal parents, family background, upbringing, been through some ugly things in your life, that also scars you from 0 to 5 as well. And the thought line in the book is actually not a thought line. It's proven research that that trauma stays with you through life. That training, you know, whether or not it's good for you or not, you're still sometimes doing it unconsciously, repeating these things and doing these things, yet complaining about why you're not getting the things that you want. And this book it rolls into a couple of great principles. I think there's 13 principles in the book in all together. My favorite one is auto-suggestion. Um, Auto-suggestion, this is what it translates into. You guys have heard it. You got on YouTube. People have told you about, please journal, please meditate, you know, exercise, read great books, you know, be around great people, and repeat what is your, you know, your life mission. Write it down and read that over and over. That is what auto-suggestion is. You're auto-suggesting to your brain, you're hypnotizing yourself, if you want to call it that, to move out of it, to kind of like lock you into this process of changing the path that you're on and putting you on another path. This is what this book's about, and it's about all at the time men who were going through the same thing, and it's people that you know, like Thomas Edison. There are presidents in it. There are senators. There are some people that you don't know as well. It's like, you know, but there are really significant people who had started their path using the principles in this book, as well as a lot of modern people that you know now. Tony Robinson talks about it all the time. It's like his book of choice. Oprah talks about it all the time, you know, so, and quite a few other people, if you hear them, you know, mentioning, you know, what the secret is, the book, this is the secret right here. All the secrets are right in here. So this one's a really fantastic one. So those are my 4 for today. Hopefully, you know, if there was one that you have never come across that might inspire you, and if you've already read the 4, I'm going to inspire you and hopefully give you some, you know, a bit of fuel to go hunt down books to help your operation and to help yourself. You know, those are such key books. Biographies are another fantastic one. I didn't grab biography, but biographies of entrepreneurs, historic figures, people who've been through real things in their life, going through that as well, because it's not just about structuring your operations just right. It's also about making sure that you're taking care of yourself, changing your mindset, because you're about to blow up your business, glow up your business. You also need to be a powerhouse as well, because you're going to be the culture that this thing is based on. So hopefully that helps you today. And by the way, if you do that, you're helping your marketers out. Great operation, help to push great marketing forward. Okay, this is Paula Madison Sierra with another episode of 10 at 10. I'm at Power Marketing. If you guys are looking for marketing and you need a bit of a consultation to sit down and go through some things, please reach out to me. And, you know, I heard a great quote today that I want to share with you. As we're going into 2023, we've been through so much. I'm going to change it around. It was a quote by Eleanor Roosevelt. She said woman, but I'm going to say people are like tea bags. You don't know how strong they can be until you put them in hot water. So hopefully you take that and give some thought to it as you're making changes and revising the things that you're doing going into 2020. You're stronger than you think. Take care, keep moving forward. And as always, thanks to everyone for sharing and supporting. Bye, everyone. Have a great rest of the day.